The news of a dog in tentacle gear, not to mention holding up, Rocky was met with a great surprise from the team. While most of them carried looks of concern as Rocky was donated did several pup treats, Chase's mind was turning. A dog in gear like that, only that could come to his head was a SWAT team. But what was a SWAT team doing in Adventure Bay? Nothing in the island's history has ever required such military reaction. He figured that as law enforcement he should know a thing or two about the military presence, or even be tied to it directly. "I've never heard anything like that before," Chase inquired, eyes gazing on the floor. I'm I'm not making this up," Rocky frowned, reaching down to munch on a treat. "Didn't say you were." The two dogs were talking up in the lookout. Rocky seated comfortably on the green dog bed, while a pile of treats at his paws. Chase was sitting a few inches away, lying on his stomach, trying to make sense of all this new information. The other pups, including Ryder, had already had their moment to talk to Rocky, but Chase anxiously sought out more to learn. Did he have a badge? No, the mixed breed shook his head. "I think he said some things, but I don't remember. Sorry." Chase waved off his apology. "It's fine. We'll get well, buddy." The sound of the door opening made the two dogs turn their heads. Ryder had quickly entered the room and switched on the intercom. "Paw Patrol to the lookout," he commanded to the mic, calling out his catchphrase. Chase merely got up and walked over, looking up at Ryder. "Is this about the dog?" "No, Chase. New issue," Ryder replied, "although we should get on that." A few moments later, the elevator to the lookout quickly opened, revealing the remaining 6 pups all overturned their backs. Marshall was giggling nervously, and Zuma could be seen rolling his eyes. Rocky did give a bored expression. "Did Marshall—" "Yes, Marshall crashed into us," Zuma finished. "Again." "Sorry," the Dalmatians gave a sly smile. "It's okay," Rubble chirped. Ryder quickly moved on to the room, while the pups dressed in their uniforms got into formation. Chase wasted no time slipping into his police gear and catching his hat on his head. It was a trick he had taught himself, and he learned in his killing retreats. "Ready for action, Ryder, sir," the shepherd saluted. "Thanks for hurrying, pups," Ryder smiled. "We have a situation down in Adventure Bay. A woman and her dog have gone missing." "Oh no," Rubble drew back, fear in his eyes. Ryder quickly brought Chase's logo on the screen, ready to give the pup his directions. "Chase, I'll need you to direct traffic with your cones and investigate the scene. Try and figure out what happened." "Chase is on the case." "Rocky," the boy continued, "you'll be helping Chase looking for clues since you have a knack for finding little things of value." "Green means go." Rocky held up his paw in salute. "Great. Paw Patrol is on a—" "Wait!" Sky jumped. "What can I do?" Everyone turned their heads. A mix of confusion and awe hit their eyes. It was almost as unheard of to interrupt a mission briefing. "Sky?" Ryder raised an eyebrow at the cockapoo. "Well," she traced her paw along the ground. "Usually I'm involved in these kind of things. Can I have air support or—" "Aren't you sick?" "Just a little," the pup insisted. "It has gotten worse." "Hasn't gotten worse. Hasn't it gotten better?" Chase tilted his head. "All right, fine," Ryder surrendered. "But you can only provide watch from the skies. No crazy exploration or that can make you worse." The small dog nodded, satisfied with her role. "This pup's gonna fly." Her voice was noticeably weaker. Chase, Rocky, and Sky all jumped into action, leaping onto the sides as their leg rigs below configured to their vehicle modes. Chase landed on his police cruiser and revved the engine, happy for some action to take his mind off the recent events. Rocky jumped into his garbage collector, smiling the whole way down. With triumphant howl, the mixed breed took controls and took to the street. Sky, she was last, jumping into her helicopter and lifting into the air in no time. With Ryder leading the way on his AV, they sped away from the tower and into action they were so well accustomed to. As the wind blew through Rocky's fur and ears, he couldn't help but laugh a little. Chase wondered deep down if the mixed breed had a secret love for drag racing. Sky quickly veered off, taking the helicopter to higher skies. As much as she wanted to join the team for real, she remained obedient to Ryder's orders and piloted to a position that would give her a great view of the bay. All she had to do was rely on anything she saw, even if it was a little boring. The pups down below quickly sped through the town, people and pups alike stopping to wave at them. Chase paid no attention to them in mind. There was a little job to do. They eventually stopped in front of the mid-class house. Coming to a stop, it was nice and humble instead of someone with not too much money yet enough to live on. The yard was still well kept, with the brown picket fence pondering about. Not too much leading up to the house, other than the stone path. The house itself was an average size, blue in color, but with a black roof. The door was a lovely shade of red, looking rather inviting for someone bringing over a plate of cookies or pup treats. A lonely mailbox stood in front of the property. Chase instantly jumped out and grabbed his traffic cones with his teeth, beginning to dot them out in the direction of incoming cars on the scene. Rocky hopped out of his own vehicle and walked up to the path, coming towards the door. There was a doggy door installed below, reminding Rocky that the owner had a dog. Leaning forward to sniff the door, he caught a whiff of vanilla, an odd smell yet pleasanting to the nose. The mixed breed shrugged and pushed himself through the door. "Hey guys!" Sky spoke from the radio, catching the attention of Ryder and Chase. "Sky?" Ryder responded. "Did you find the missing persons?" "Well, no," she said apologetically. "But there's something else down below where I can see." "Sky, don't report anything unless it's relevant to the mission," he replied in annoyance. "No, Ryder, I can see like 6 pup vehicles, all spinning down the streets." "Pup vehicles?" Ryder blinked in confusion. "Like our rigs?" "Yeah, but a lot less colorful. They're coming your way." "I'll check it out." Ryder sprang up and jumped back on his AV. Chase quickly turned and followed him. "But sir, the mission." "Take it from here, Chase. I know you can." The boy turned from his ride. "I don't know any other dogs that have rigs like ours. I'll be back soon." With a final look at Chase, Ryder sped off back into the street, hunting for the mysterious rigs. Chase suddenly felt much smaller than usual, even though it was a feeling he should have been having often, being a puppy and all. With a deep breath, he turned back towards the house and started sniffing up the path. Meanwhile, Rocky was hard at work inside the house. With a cheerful humming, he had summoned the metal claw from his pup pack, expertly using it to clean up the rooms. A lot of trash was sprinkled around, a soda can here and there, and some chip bags, and a whole pizza box. Cleaning was his specialty, and there was something almost therapeutic about the turning a room into spotless. He had let out a grunt of annoyance when he discovered the whole room with several spots of mud. "Doesn't anyone wipe their feet anymore?" he inquired, but shrugged and went to get the sponge from his rig. Chase was outside, slightly distracted from a beetle across his view. His eyes suddenly shot up when he heard screeching sounds of multiple cars. He picked up his head in alarm, eyes staring out into the street as a large number of pup vehicles all drove up at once, smothering in his traffic cones. "Hey, you can't," he started to say. "Get on the ground," a voice barked. As dogs flooded out of the rigs, Chase drew back in alarm, and when he realized all the dogs were wearing dark tactical gear, almost exactly like Rocky described. But this wasn't one dog, this was dozen, and now they were all here. The shepherd was all a loss for words when armored animals strapped up to pup packs of their own, each of them sporting a full metal and incredibly real assault rifle. "What?" Chase started to say. "I said on the ground now!" the trooper shouted right through his mask, jumping over the fence in front of him. A yellow taser quickly extended out of his pack. The inner puppy within Chase seemed to come out as he quickly threw himself on the ground. His voice was gone, replaced with whimpers as his courage left him. Quivering, his ears went flat, and his mind swirled with fear as he lay staring back at the tufts of grass. Pause, behind your head. Come into order," as he obeyed. He flinched and felt his paws zip-tied together. Around him he could hear multiple troopers all streaming down the property. His pup pack was quickly torn off and tossed to the side, and he felt his collar get clipped off and thrown into the grass. His loss of tag cut off all communication with Sky and Ryder. "Quarantine the area. Nothing gets out until cleared," shouted someone. "There were 2 vehicles out here," the trooper continued, noticing Rocky's garbage collector. "Where's the other dog?" "Inside," Chase said. "Inside?" The tactical dog recoiled. He could be contaminating the whole site. What is going on? A new voice came, sounding more authoritative. The second dog's inside, with the biozone, sir. What? The dog recoiled, then turned to the rest of the dogs. Break down the door and get him out. Rocky could hear the commotion from inside. He was just about to hit the front door to walk outside, needing his sponge to banish the muddy mess that plagued the room, when the sound of cars screeching and complete with shouting. Rocky stopped and peeked out from the window. The sight of the exact dogs who scarred him yesterday filled him with more fear than water ever could. Seeing Chase not only arrested but being painfully driven to the ground as a trooper was standing on his head filled him with confusion and panic. He turned and ran, turning to face into the room, frantically searching for a quickened breath for a place to hide. His heart skipped when the sound of shattering wood and glass rang out through the house. All way clear, came a voice. Rocky fell frozen to the floor, his mind spinning as he tried to think of any possible way out. Could he run from them? Could he hide from them? Should he give himself up? What were they going to do to him? What they were going to do to him if he ran? The trooper instantly rounded the corner, catching sight of the mixed breed, and instantly drew back the aiming the down rifle. On the ground! Paws above your head! What did I do? Rocky quivered, a voice nearly breaking with fear. Pup, you better get on the fucking ground right now! The trooper's gun made a clicking noise, meaning it had to be cocked and ready to fire. Life flashed before his eyes. Rocky fought himself to the ground as tears fell from his eyes. He felt his pup pack get torn off his body, and his paws were zip-tied. Chase cried in protest as the dogs grabbed his tied paws, catching him with a small hook from their packs. He was dragged out of the yard and into a large van-like vehicle, dark green in color. As he looked back, Chase could see another dog watching him, a dog different from the troopers. It was a Belgian Malinois, brown and black in color, dressed in darker gear. The hardy dog narrowed his amber eyes at Chase, holding up a gaze until the doors were shut.